Alright folks, the YouTube channel's gone a little bit off the rails here. Recently we've had go-karts, golf carts, backhoes, forklifts, tractors, dishwashers, you name it. Let's work on a pickup truck. It's a Toyota Tacoma. I think it's a 2007. Appears to be in mint condition. He said it has some misfire issues and there were some codes for the NOx sensors. Something like that. Anyway, we got this liquid snow coming down, so let's get it inside, dry it out, and see what we can figure out. Got a bit of a high idle. No check engine light on. Feels pretty solid. 220,000 miles. Alright, I scanned for codes. It has 8 codes for the engine. Looks like it's really not happy with the crankshaft position sensor. And then it's got some misfires, cylinder 4, cylinder 6, both pending, or all pending, and then history codes for the same thing. Now the NOx sensor code, I'm not sure about that. We'll have to look up the code setting criteria for this P0333, if that's just a NOx sensor detecting a knock, or if that's an actual short to voltage in the sensor circuit. Now coincidentally, sensor 2, well, bank 2 NOx sensor would correspond to cylinder 4 and cylinder 6. So keep that in the back of our mind. Let me do some research on the code setting criteria for this stuff because I'm not a Tacoma expert. This is a 4-liter V6, by the way, and we'll make a game plan. Well, I guess I wasn't really thinking. P0016, it's not a crank position sensor code, that's a cam crank correlation code, timing code. Means that the computer is not happy with the correlation between the cam sensor and the crank sensor. Typically means it's got a bad timing chain. So what we need to do is tunnel down into here, find the cam sensors. Well, our friends at Toyota, they giveth and they taketh away. So it has a nice procedure for doing cam crank correlation testing, gives us a known good waveform. Cam sensors up on top, no problem, pop the intake off, back probe them. But the crankshaft sensor, you can't even see it. It is inaccessible without removing the air conditioning compressor. So we'll have to try something else. So inside, there's the ECU right there, ECM, PCM, whatever you want to call it. We need pin 21 and 20. Well, we need to see 21. Off of, shows a little C here, so C is connector E6. Oh, come on, light, really? You gonna do that to me? Alright. Anyway, I got a pin out here of what E6 should be. But I gotta get the light recharged. Let's try that. Now, if I was a Toyota engineer, would I label those connectors? Probably not. That would be way too easy. Let's see. E6 should have 7 big fat pins across one side. Right? You guys can't see that, it's all blown out. 7 big fat, hold on. 7 big fat pins, it's right here. And then some notches in whatever position. That's gotta be it. Oh yeah, let's just pull it out. Looks like some wiring damage right there, whatever that is, on that blue wire. Yeah, that's rubbed through. I'll have to fix that. What's that? Pin. Oh, I don't know. Alright, mystery solved. I was looking at the plug from the wrong side. So there's the black wire right there. It's a black wire, not a blue wire. So I guess blue would be BL in the Toyota nomenclature. Come on. Jeepers.
These guys could give us an extra 1/4 of an inch of slack in the harness, you know? Really wouldn't kill them. Alright, now we can finally do our testing. Alright, we've got our science experiment all wired up here with the picoscope. Come on, this computer is so terrible. Sounds like she's got a little bit of an exhaust leak. Alright, so let's compare here. If I can figure out how to do it. We've got a known good from Toyota. Let me sort this out. Let's just take a look here. I think what we're going to be interested in is... Come on, what's your problem? I think our problems are going to be right here. So on the known good waveform, it seems to line up pretty good between the crank and the cam, but they should be line on line. The camshaft sensors should be line on line with each other, and they are not. I mean, it's not by very much, but yeah, I don't know. It doesn't take much, I guess. We could probably figure that out. Let me do some math and think about that. All right, folks, I put up some cursors on the Pico software here. So I've marked off 720 degrees of crankshaft rotation, which would correspond to 360 degrees of camshaft rotation. And then within that, I can measure the actual difference between the bank 1 camshaft and the bank 2 camshaft position sensors, and it comes out to be just over 5 degrees. Now, I don't have good enough resolution on this picture of our known good waveform to really know the correlation between the cam and the crank, but I think, you know, since we have this 5 degree discrepancy between the two camshafts themselves, we can assume that there's, you know, at least an equal amount of discrepancy between the cam and the crankshaft. So yeah, 5 degrees isn't much, but it probably is enough to trigger that P0016 code. Now I may try to run this again with the VVT solenoids unplugged, just to be sure that the ECM's not doing something weird. But if I read the service information correctly, when it sets that P0333 code for the NOx sensors, it disables the VVT system anyway. It keeps it fully retarded. So yeah, I know this doesn't look like much, but at this point I'm saying that this truck has a stretch timing chain, and yeah, that code's not going to go away until we fix that. Now, could this stretch timing chain cause the misfire, the P0306 and P0304, so misfires on cylinder 3 and cylinder 4? Yeah, I think so. I mean, you see that all the time. When you start getting misfires confined to a single bank, a lot of times it's a timing issue. So yeah, bummer. According to ALLDATA, that's an 11.7 hour job to fix that timing chain. I see the OEM times here are a little bit lower, so if you know what you're doing, you might be able to get it done in 9.2 hours, or, you know, if you've done one of these before, I'm sure you could beat that even. But for a rookie like me, we're probably going to be more in this category. Anyway, I'll show you guys something here real quick. So under the code setting information here for that P0016, found something interesting here. So basically in this paragraph it tells you that what the computer does. And when it starts the engine up, it checks, well, it sets the camshafts at fully retarded at idle, and then it checks between its own known good and what it's actually reading from the cam and crankshaft sensors. And if the discrepancy is less than 5 degrees, it just stores that information and uses it to adjust the variable valve timing. But it doesn't say that. It doesn't say this explicitly here, but I'm assuming that what that implies is if the discrepancy is over 5 degrees, then it sets that P0016 code. And so it has some values here to 25 degrees or more than 45.2 degrees. I don't know what these numbers mean. I believe that's crankshaft angle, but there's no way for us to really quantify that without, I don't know, degree wheels or something. Without taking the engine apart, I can't tell you what that stuff really corresponds to. But I thought this 5 degree crankshaft angle was pretty interesting because we have just over a 5 degree discrepancy on the Pico Capture. Anyway, yeah, doesn't look so good. I was looking at timing chain sets. I haven't checked with Toyota for OEM parts, but it looks like aftermarket parts really aren't too expensive. A couple of different Cloys sets here on Rock Auto, and I've got, basically the same sets I can get through my local supplier for about the same price. So we'll see. I don't know if we're going to get this job or not. This guy does his own work. I think he just wanted me to diagnose it. All right, folks, I think we're done. I am going to fix that one chafed wire, though. Oh, come on. Oh, no. I think my liquid electrical tape's not so liquid anymore. That's a bummer. Okay. Boy, that stuff stinks. Like I said, this guy does his own work, so he's going to replace the timing chain or not. It's got 220,000 miles on it. It still runs pretty decent, so I guess that's up to him. He said the reason the check engine light's not on is because it doesn't work. So that's interesting. Anyway, he says he's been driving it like this for 40,000 miles, so it's not like it's a new problem. But it appears to be a really clean truck. I think it's had the frame replaced. All right, folks, that's it for the Toyota Tacoma. I can feel Scotty Kilmer just trying to hold back a tear. It's a sad day for Toyotas. But what are you going to do? As far as I know, nobody's ever designed an engine that's never had a timing chain fail, and today it was Toyota's turn. Yeah, sorry there's no real repairs in this video, it's just diagnostics. Like I said, he's going to do the work himself or not, you know, it's up to him. Like I said, he's been driving it this way for a while, so I don't think it's anything imminent. And, you know, the check engine light doesn't even work, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. Yeah, as far as diagnosing this problem without an oscilloscope, it would be tough. You'd have to pull the valve covers off, and then I don't know what you would do as far as the crankshaft position. There is an inspection cover in the front of the timing cover for the tensioner. You might be able to sneak down in there with a borescope or something and see that. But it would be a tough job to line that up without doing some major disassembly. So the scope is the way to go. And the Pico scope makes it so easy. Really glad that I have that tool. Anyway, thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Oh, almost forgot the most important part. How's anybody going to know it's a V6 VVTi?